As you see, my Jedi powers are far beyond yours.
What is up, guys? We are back. It is DCI episode 24, another beautiful day in the hobby. I am DCI Jason, here with Big Sexy Bradley Crenshaw. We are coming to you guys live from DCI HQ. Another beautiful day in the hobby here at DCI. Bunch of cool stuff to talk about today. What I want to get started off with, though, is to make sure everybody is aware of our new RCR price. That is going to be $10 a card, no limit. DCI RCRs are back for $10 a card, no matter if that's at a show, in the office. Let's get them in.
That's pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
That is absolutely awesome.
Another price I want to talk about is our early submission slabs are available for $18 a card. $18 a card, send them in, 120-day turnaround. Those are available through the mail as well. Head over to DCIgrading.com, check out our submission process, and get your cards slabbed up. Finally, DCI Grading.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. To get started on today's episode, we are going to talk about some of the new products hitting the market, mainly Select basketball and Spectra basketball. Something I really enjoy every year is going to be the inserts out of Select, the RPAs from Spectra. What are you looking forward to in some of these new products?
Well, I didn't get any Spectra, but I do have 2 cases of Select basketball coming.
Excellent.
The Spectra, to me, is never held the value over the years. It's a great looking product, and you can hit, the Logo Man. There's only a few products the Logo Man comes in.
That's exactly
right.
And
that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the value of those just it doesn't hold over time. And if you go and look at some of the recent sales, even on some of the Logo Man, you can pick up some Logo Man on some guys for $1,000.
It's crazy. And why is that to you? Specifically on the Logo Man,
I don't know, because the product is actually a high-end product.
It's a high-end product. Like you said, there isn't a one-of-one Logo Man in every product. There's typically a one-of-one rookie of some kind. Why doesn't the Logo Man, outside of maybe Flawless, National Treasures, or Immaculate, hold that, that premium that those others do?
I don't know. Why does the 51 Mickey Mantle rookie card sell for less than the 52 Topps Mantle, which is not his rookie? It's all what the hobby perceives and what the hobby wants. And the hobby sets the value to the cards.
Yep.
So regardless of it being a rookie or regardless of it being a higher end product, if the hobby says National Treasures and Flawless is the product to buy, then that's the product that's going to drive through the roof. And so whether what you believe or not, I was messing around on Facebook yesterday and I was scrolling through some comments, and there was a guy trying to sell a Cade Cunningham blue 75th anniversary, the diamond.
Yep.
It was a BGS 9.5.
Okay.
Right? And so he's asking this price, and I forget he was asking, he said PSA 10 sold for $1,000. And somebody said, well, it's not a PSA 10. He said, well, it's a BGS 9.5. They're both gem mint. And he's like, well, the last BGS 9.5 sold for $400. He said, well, that's absurd. What's the difference in price when they're both gem mint?
Correct.
And the gap is so far apart. And there's no real explanation to it other than the fact that the hobby has designated the PSA 10 to hold more value because of the 10 number than a gem mint 9.5. And I've never understood that. And it's the same way with the products and in any product in any singles. Whatever the hobby decides and pushes, that's what happens.
So here's something we see time to time as a new product comes out. Typically, those prices realized at auction are going to be much higher than the first week or two when the new product comes out. Do you think that these, maybe the non-hobby darlings like the Spectra or the Obsidians of the hobby world, if you can really find those rare cards like the Logo Men from Spectra RPAs, some of the case hits from Obsidian, and get into them at a good price, do you see that kind of secondary market as somewhere to play right now as a long-term hold? Maybe no, you don't. Okay. And can you explain that in terms of, okay, I'll spend $10,000 on a Logo Man versus spending $1,000 on a Logo Man. Why wouldn't the $1,000 Logo Man increase, that same percentage over time?
Because the hobby will forget about it and go for the National Treasures of the Flawless. That's just what's going to happen. And there's so much product that's being produced a friend of mine in the hobby,
Yep.
the king of cards or whatever, however it's Kyle.
Kyle.
So
yep.
anyway, I was watching one of his videos the other day, and he made a great point. He was talking about even players like Trevor Lawrence or Trey Lance or Justin Fields or any of these other, quarterbacks that are coming into the hobby that people are paying astronomical prices for.
Sure.
They could go and win 7 Super Bowls like Tom Brady, and their value of their cards would never reach the value of Tom Brady. Why? Because there's 6,000 cards produced of that particular player. Now, like the 101s and the shields, those are designed to have, a scarcity and a longer term value.
Right.
And it was just a great point that he made on those cards. And it really got you to thinking, why in the world would you want to spend $500,000
Right.
on a Joe Burrow card
that
even if he goes and wins 7 Super Bowls, which, mark my word, he will not, and I am another
I was going to say, whoa, where are we going with this? Yeah.
It still will not reach the value of a Tom Brady, over that time. So why not spend that money in the GOATs,
right.
or the vintage stuff that's going to, sustain value. And I kind of got off of the topic there, but it's all about what the hobby perceives is, and right now everybody has such FOMO on those cards.
I was just going to say, it ties me into our next topic, which is going to be that fear of missing out. And I know we did get a little bit off topic, but it really relates back to, when Brady logo men came out his rookie year. Let's just say, I don't know how many there are. There's a handful, right? There aren't many Brady true, not logo man, shields, NFL shields. The NFL equivalent of the logo man. Like you said, there may be a 10 or 12 of those in existence for each set, that maybe one per set that came out at the time, where Joe Burrow might have 100 NFL shields out there. And that certainly takes, that scarcity away from even the top card, the one of one from that year. If there's like you said, if there's 1,000 one of ones out there, well then, it's really not as scarce or as rare.
How many Mickey Mantle rookies are there?
1.
Correct.
Right.
But the hobby perceives as the 52 though.
Correct.
How many Willie Mays rookies are there?
1.
How many Michael Jordan rookies are there?
1.
Correct.
Yes.
So when you start thinking about that, played into the roles of how many Luka rookies are there?
100%.
How many, even go back even before that, before they started really printing a lot, go back to LeBron, even 03, 04. How many LeBron rookies are there? Hundreds.
More than Jordan, less than Luka.
Yes.
Right.
And so I don't understand that, and that still goes back to, you'll never understand. It's
right.
what
it's just the
hobby wants. It's what the hobby gets.
Yep. And that's a great point. But like you said, fear of missing out. I think a lot of people tuned in to watch Mac Jones and the Patriots on Monday night. Or maybe I think it was Monday night when he got benched for Bailey Zappi. Everybody was scrambling to buy those Mac Jones prisms. I know we pulled a gold out of a box here when, on release week. People are paying those absurd prices for these young quarterbacks. Like we just talked about, that first week, talk about that fear of missing out. Like, and what kind of goes into the people's minds when they are making those purchases. Not that you have before, but yeah.
I mean, it's just it is the fear of missing out on being able to capitalize on a huge gain. And, I was just thinking about it this morning. Look back to 2017 and Patrick Mahomes. I knew, Patrick and got to the opportunity to watch him play all the way through high school. So I had a little bit more of an inside track to the Mahomes side of things. But when he came into the league, he was drafted 10th overall. You could pick up his national treasures to 99 for less than $1,000. I think they were around $400 to $700. Okay. The 99 sells for $160 now. You could pick up the golds to 10 for around $1,500 to $2,500, somewhere right around in there.
Crazy.
$1 million card.
$1 million card. Unbelievable.
5 years later.
And that is what drives the...
And now people are so worried that they're going to miss that next big
Mahomes,
quarterback.
that sleeper, that
And
next.
so
yep.
they're trying to jump on things early. I mean, yeah, I play that realm sometimes too.
Totally.
I mean, everybody who knows me and knows I have the best Jacob Eason collection
Absolutely.
that you could possibly imagine. And I am still sitting on every single one of those cards in hopes that one day he's going to become a starter. Right now, he's not.
Right.
And by the way, I just sent another gold. I got another gold. I now own all 3 of the PSA 10 golds.
There we go.
So I actually own,
Send us your Easons. That's right. Keep sending them this way.
I actually own 5 of the Prism golds now.
That's
so
awesome.
Was working on getting all 10 of them just so I could get all 10. But yeah, so it's all about the fear of missing out, and everybody has it.
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody's looking for, I mean, that's the way you make money, right? I mean, even in the marketing side of things, when you're dealing with, the stock market, you're going to want to try to buy that stock when it's on the low. So that way you can try to estimate when that thing's going to rise, right?
Right.
And so you do that the same way in the sports card market. You're trying to be that person that selects the right player before he explodes. And we all know that quarterbacks are where the money's at.
Right.
It's not in positional players.
No, it's not.
And so everybody's looking for that next quarterback or the one that's on the bench or the one that's behind that one that's going to take that spot. They want to try to snag those early so that way when they rise up, then they can make money on.
Kind of on the flip side of the fear of missing out, where you're maybe stockpiling some of the guys who are looking to get that next opportunity, how do you decide between who to keep and who to let go? Kind of like on the consequence side. What if I let go of, let's say, my Patrick Mahomes in 2017 in favor of my, to keep my Mitchell Trubisky's or something like that, something along those lines. You know what I mean? And how do you make that decision? And obviously, it's the fear of missing out, and it's the risk that everybody takes. Is like, what are you going to hold versus sell, and manage your margins that way. But how do you best work through a box of cards that you just opened and say, okay, here's what I'm getting rid of right now. Here's what maybe I'm going to put away. Here's what I'm going to grade and sell immediately. Kind of talk through that. And is it more seasonal? Does it depend on the product? Is it kind of just depend on the cards? Or do you have a strategy?
One, it's product.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to target a specific player, of course, I'm going to target his best stuff and his best product. So his national treasures. I only do national treasures and usually the golds out of Prism or the one-on-ones. That's all I'll target. I don't go for all these off brands like Spectrum and, Absolute or, whatever else. Certified, any of those, Select, I don't do any of those. I try to target the higher, the ones that the hobby
has made their darling.
Made the top
the
product.
End all be all. Yep.
And if I'm going to spend the money and then I say, okay, I'm going to invest X amount of dollars in this particular player, and then I'm just going to hold them. And then there's not a way, not really a strategy for me to say, okay, I'm going to move these to keep these. It just comes to a point where it
makes sense.
I have to say, okay, is this guy going to have an opportunity? Don't get me wrong. I have literally got into my PWCC vault and looked at every one of those Jacob Eason cards and thought, well, let me clean some of these out. Let me send some of them to auction. And then I'm like, no, because they're only going to sell for pennies of what, I know they will bring if
he gets another chance.
Job.
Right.
And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep sitting on them. I'm going to keep sitting on them and I'm going to keep sitting on them. And probably if he doesn't have an opportunity within the next 2 years, then I'll end up just unloading them and just getting whatever I can get for them.
And I think,
which I'll lose money,
right?
But I won't keep him because at that point he'll be in the league for 5 years, and if he hasn't had an opportunity to get a job, chances are it's not going to happen.
Sure, and that's kind of the personal decision on, hey, I need to cut bait here. I need to kind of, like you said, clean up my collection a little bit and consolidate. And that's kind of what I meant. Where if you start collecting somebody like I collected Arenado, I had 150 base rookie PSA 10s. Well, at some point, I wanted a numbered rookie. And so, I took some of the base and put it into a numbered and then started to upgrade that way. And so that's kind of along the lines of what I was saying, as well as you deciding when to cut bait versus do I hold for another opportunity. It's all kind of personal with your finances, but obviously, like you said, try to hold those rookie quarterbacks before you hold on to those skill position players, the numbered rookies over the base, things like that.
Well, Peyton Manning is my guy.
That's right. That's right.
Peyton Manning, Michael Jordan. Those are the guys that I hold on to. So I mean, as far as these rookie quarterbacks,
Are you a Mantle guy?
a Mantle guy?
Yeah.
I like Mickey.
All right. Well, that's interesting because our friends over at Collectable, shout out to my friend David Marino and the guys at Collectable, they have just received a buyout offer on their 1952 Mickey Mantle PSA 8. That $1.4 million buyout offer is up to their shareholders, Collectable, a fractional ownership company, offered those shares. I know you picked some up at the beginning.
I own shares in that card. So I bought shares in that card back when the estimated value was around 350, 380, somewhere around in there. I don't remember. And then when it shot up to 700 and some odd thousand, I sold my shares out of the Mantle. Double money.
Beautiful.
I mean,
that's
great. Now it's doubled again.
That's exactly right.
But to be honest with you, I think 1.4 million is a little low.
I thought the same thing. It's a beautiful copy.
It is. It's a little off-centered.
It is. It's beautiful. An 8.
But it's an 8. It's
got great color.
It does. It is a pretty card.
It does.
It is a beautiful card. But I do believe the 1.4 is a little low.
It'll be interesting to see how their shareholders vote on that one because, like you said, doubling your money, most people would be ecstatic.
I bet they decline it.
I hope so.
I would be willing to bet they decline it. Is what's going to happen. But it is an absolutely beautiful copy.
And so, sure. I guess tying this back into the fear of missing out onto the fractional side of things, are you more of the take your profit and or does it depend on the asset that again you're holding the share of? When that valuation comes in, if it's a buyout offer, are you more of one to take the profit on your shares and, like you said, double your money on the Mantle, or is this something that you would have held on to potentially in that fractional wallet?
Well, I mean, I mentioned to you earlier, I doubled my money and I moved.
Took your money and yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was an opportunity for me to move that money into something else, and the way I look at it, if I can double my money every day,
that's a great day. That's a great day. That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people would feel the same way. But for the people who didn't sell at the $700,000 valuation, good on you. Diamond hands.
Yeah, but they may have bought. They may be the ones who bought some of my shares.
100%.
So they've doubled their money now.
Yep.
And so I mean it's that's the thing with the hobby, and if I make money and you make money and we just move on, and don't be worried about the next person
100%.
Making some money on
Absolutely.
your particular deal. If we can all work on that and just provide deals to people,
right, and
let them go make their deal, I think this hobby just continues to thrive.
Unfortunately, social media has gotten the best of us, I think, and everybody loves seeing the big piles of cash and the big cards trading hands on a video on TikTok or things like that. And I really don't think it's going away anytime soon. We continue to see the hobby brought into the main stage of everyday life. More mainstream media types getting in, athletes, actors as well. Netflix just announced that they have partnered with Adam Sandler for a follow-up to Uncut Gems that's going to be centered around the sports card world. So I think that's just going to bring even more sensationalism, if you will, to the big sales at these auction houses and the big cards being pulled out of boxes. So I don't think that sensationalism's going anywhere, but it would be nice change of pace to maybe see somebody sell a card at 80% on camera for once or something like that.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to see the movie that Adam Sandler put. I like Adam Sandler.
I do too. He's great.
So,
what's your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
Man, I like Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, Happy Gilmore's great. I liked Mr. Deeds. Billy Madison's great.
Yeah.
All those early 90s Adam Sandler movies are so funny.
Good.
All right, that does it for us. One thing I want to touch on before we shut it down, $10 RCRs are back at DCI. We've got $18 early slab submissions as well. Talk about bringing value back to the hobby.
Absolutely. It's all about value.
That's all we're here for.
Value.
We will see y'all next week. I am DCI Jason here with big, sexy Bradley Crenshaw. We're out.